something I ask myself is, would the 19, 20, 21-year-old Chris listen to the 49-year-old Chris?
Hell no, man.
You know what I mean?
Hell
Like-
no. You were wanting to live the rock life, dude. You know, I mean,
Yeah, well, here I am having lived it. That's what I'm saying. It's like, would I have thought I was cool
Yeah.
enough to listen to? But probably not. You're probably right. But it's like, again, it's like the fish at the end of the hook. Like, I only have so much fight, and resistance. Now it's like, choose the path of least resistance. Man,
So,
you know?
what do you think the 60-year-old Chris in 10 years or 13 years or whatever will be telling the 48-year-old Chris, man?
Jesus.
What's the next 10 years, bro?
I don't know, man.
Crazy,
I mean,
dude.
yeah,
'Cause,
it's
time's going by so fast right now, bro.
yeah.
What kind of goals are we setting for the next decade, man?
Well, I'm always gonna be a musician. I'm always gonna be recording music, whether it's for other people or myself. And when it comes to me, music that I'm writing for myself, I mean, and I feel somewhat lucky that I put myself in this scenario or situation, in that I don't feel that I have to do a Chris Bettis record every year or every 2 years. You know what I mean? Or write so many songs for my record, because I work with so many different people, and it gives me that outlet. You know what I mean? And it also gives me a sense of comfort, man. I mean, it's like, I never thought, when I was sitting on the edge of my bed as a kid, as a teenager, playing guitar to the music that I loved and learning how to do that sort of thing, I never once thought about interviews or the spotlight or the behind the scenes stuff. I thought about being on stage and playing my music for people, but from a background kind of perspective. Never the one in the front, never the one that people were gonna want to do interviews with, or the people, or where I was gonna have to do interviews. I never thought I was gonna be that person. You know,
were the
so
studio guy, the stage guy.
It will forever, I believe it will forever be a struggle for me to look comfortable in situations like that, or like red carpets, or television interviews, and that's one of the good things about social media now, and like what we're doing, is that there's a certain sense of comfort in this. One, because I know you and we have a past and a history, and two, it's because I don't feel like somebody else is in control of it and they get to turn it into something that it isn't.
There's no motive for me, but just to, man, just get to know you. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
hear your stories. I'm always interested in the human aspect of an artist. I know you play guitar. I know you've recorded. I know your history. But you know what? I never knew your biological grandfather played piano. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the stuff that really
Yeah,
intrigues me. You know
Yeah,
what I
me
mean?
too. Well, you're a musician too, so
Yeah.
it's like our common interest, man, is our love for music and the people that create it. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. It's just the things that have come along with it, more so in my past than in my present. But for example, doing interviews in the mid 90s to the late 90s.
Yeah.
No matter what I said or what I did, musically speaking.
I always thought about thinking about you. I was like, how must it feel knowing that every time you're going to get interviewed, it's basically about what happened with Selena. And I always saw those interviews and I always thought, man, Chris has a story too, dude. You know what I mean? I want to let people know it. That's basically when you contacted me. I was like, that's awesome, man.
In my past, specifically dealing with my years in Los Dinos and with Selena and married to her, I mean, that's part of my story too. It's just that it took a long time and thank God for social media, you know, but it took a long time to get to the point to where I felt like I could actually do an interview and be treated the way I thought it should be treated, because before then it would be, we're going to do an interview and we would talk, you know, about the new record, and then we would talk about Selena. I get it, okay. Again, it's part of my story. But then when the interview would air, that would be all they'd show. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I understand it. I get it. Mm-hmm. You know, hey, everybody's got a job to do, right? Mm-hmm. I get it. But I just could not get comfortable with it.
And you know what? Coming from that industry, I knew exactly what was going on. You know what I mean? And I thank God for YouTube, and thank God for what's going on. And that's something I wanted to ask you too about also, because the music industry has just totally evolved and changed. The record industry of the past, that model has just been dissolved. Right. There's a whole new opportunity for many artists that never had the opportunity to be signed by a label or join a big band to do their own thing and put it online and get their streams and do stuff like that. The concert industry, but it seems like that has created that deal where all the bands have to be on tour, because that's where the money is with the live shows, you know.
Yeah, well, no, in my experience, I'd have to agree with you. I mean, I've released a few EPs, you know, because that's how I wanted to handle it as far as the music releasing of songs and stuff that I've done. Because, you know, attention spans, and it's kind of like, I feel like I'm, for lack of a better analogy, I'm wasting bullets if I put more than
12 song album.
Yeah, if I put more than 5 songs out, I don't know what's gonna happen with the other 7 songs.
You know what I've noticed? And I noticed, have you heard a guy named Tekashi 6ix9ine?
Yeah.
Okay, that guy, I keep seeing these videos of a billion streams. So I look him up, and his song's 1 minute and 40 seconds.
That 1 billion streams in 5 months. What that say? Yeah, 1 billion streams, and I'm still wearing the same clothes. I don't even look. Fuck that shit. Wearing the same clothes. I'm saying Treyway shit, man.
And I'm like, okay, by the time people hear his song 4 times, they've only heard my song once, because my song's 4 minutes long.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, now I know how these guys are doing it. They're shortening these songs to a point where you have to stream it, you know, 4 streams equals 1 stream for me, because my song's longer than theirs. Right. So before you know, and it doesn't matter how long the song is or the stream is, you're still going to get that record for the stream, you know, or that. Yeah. So I said, you know what, that's where this industry is going, to those short songs. That's why DJs have been so popular, because they just cut songs in pieces. Right now, most artists would, it would probably be feasible to just release a single and a video, let it out. What did you think about Metallica's album, dude? They released it all online with videos and everything. You know, when I saw that, I said, okay, the record industry has changed, dude.
Yeah.
You know, these guys, these guys are on top of everybody. You know, they know exactly where it's going. Right. So I saw what they did, and I said, okay, that's like the model for, you know, for what's to come, maybe, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's forever going to be the models and the formulas and the things like that, but there's also going to be, and especially nowadays, I think that it's so easy to think outside of the box, and it's so easy, if we're talking about models and formulas, it's so easy to think outside of that. I think a lot of us are trained to think like that because of more than likely our experience in the industry, right? I don't think that the kids nowadays even know what a freaking formula or model is, because I don't even know where they listen to their music, to be honest with you, because everybody I've talked to, they're like, they don't listen to the radio. And when I grew up, that's where I first heard all my stuff, was on the radio. You know, they would drop the single a month or 2 before the album came out and start the
radio isn't the influential, you know, tool or you know, train that it once was. I went to a concert and there was a headliner, and the headliner was a band that, you know, had strong airplay with us. Man, we were constantly playing their songs every time they released a song. The band before that got the biggest pop, and everybody was singing along to every song. I was like, who the hell are these guys?
Wow.
So it was a band called 10 Years, right? I went back to work. I told my program director, hey, man, do we play 10 Years? He goes, no. And I go, well, we need to start playing 10 Years. And let me tell you, they had a bigger audience response than the band we played over and over again.
Yeah.
So who's influencing these people?
I know. Yeah. I would love to know.
You know, and I don't know, back in the day, my friend would call me, hey man, I just bought a cassette from a band called Def Leppard, dude. It's called On Through the Night. They're a bunch of kids from Britain.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Let me go over, man. Let's check it out.
Yeah.
So I'd go over and check it out. Now it's as easy as me just tagging you or me, and so I think that's how that works. But there's also money involved where you have to pump money into the social media for them to be able to push your song out. Or
Right.
YouTube.
Oh, there's people, that you can pay to get that
You
done.
buy ads and stuff. So that's, sort of like the label idea, nowadays. But back in the day, the label would give you the money, you'd record the album, and then they'd
pump it through their network, their system.
And then they'd get the money back, and then maybe a year later, 2 years later, you'll start seeing a penny or two,
Yeah.
Now, I tell people it's like going to the bank and getting a $5,000 loan to pay for the studio, the video, and the promotional marketing aspect of it.
Right.
You still got to pay the bank back, with a little bit of interest. Some labels got a lot of interest. I have friends that are in debt to labels.
Yeah. Well, not only that, and then you don't end up owning
any of your songs.
Yeah, you don't own them. So that's the big kicker at the end of that type of situation.
Are you on any label?